The Secrets of Blackwood Forest. Sarah, a young journalist, ventured into the village of Blackwood to investigate local legends about a cursed forest. Villagers claimed the forest was haunted by spirits and strange creatures, and that no one who entered ever returned. Sarah hoped to uncover the truth and write a sensational story. As evening fell, Sarah entered the forest armed only with a flashlight and a voice recorder. The forest was dense with tall trees whose branches seemed to reach out to grab her. The rustling leaves and distant cries of birds created an eerie atmosphere. She began recording her observations. "I'm in Blackwood Forest. It's very quiet and gloomy here. The atmosphere is truly frightening." Sarah continued walking, feeling the fear slowly creep over her. Suddenly, she noticed strange tracks on the ground, leading deeper into the forest. Curiosity got the better of her, and she followed the tracks. Soon, she stumbled upon an abandoned graveyard. The tombstones were carved with strange symbols and dates from long ago. Suddenly, a shadow flickered between the trees. Sarah shone her flashlight in that direction but saw nothing. Her heart began to race. She took a few more steps forward and heard someone whisper her name. "Sarah." She turned around but saw no one. Trying to remain calm, Sarah continued walking forward. Suddenly, her flashlight flickered and went out, plunging her into darkness. She fumbled with it, trying to get it to work, but it was dead. In the pitch-black forest, Sarah felt an icy chill run down her spine. She heard the whisper again, this time closer. "Sarah." She backed up against a tree, her breath coming in short gasps. The whispering grew louder, and she could now make out multiple voices. Shadows seemed to move all around her, even though she couldn't see anything clearly. Desperation took over, and she decided to use her phone's flashlight. As soon as she turned it on, she saw something that made her blood run cold. A figure stood a few feet away, its eyes glowing in the darkness. It was tall and thin, with long, bony fingers pointing directly at her. Sarah screamed and ran, not caring where she was going. Branches whipped her face and arms as she stumbled through the undergrowth. She could still hear the whispers, now mixed with faint laughter. She tripped over a root and fell, losing her phone in the process. Lying on the ground, she saw the figure approaching slowly. It reached out a hand towards her. In a last desperate attempt, Sarah grabbed a large stick and swung it wildly. The figure disappeared just before the stick could make contact. Breathing heavily, Sarah got up and started running again. She saw a faint light in the distance and headed towards it. To her relief, it was the edge of the forest. She burst out into the open and collapsed on the ground, panting. The villagers found her the next morning, huddled at the forest's edge. She told them what had happened, but they just shook their heads. "No one goes into Blackwood Forest and comes back the same," an old woman said. Sarah left the village that day, her story unfinished. She never spoke about what happened in the forest again. But every night, she could still hear the whispers in her dreams, calling her back to the shadows of Blackwood Forest.